Welcome to our discussion. We're diving into a talk by Dr. Jan Oberg, where he really challenges conventional ideas about peace by urging us to be creative and focus on the future.
I'm really excited about that approach. What really stands out for you in his perspective?
Well, his mantra, if you want peace, be creative and focus on the future, really sets a tone that it's like reorients our thinking. He emphasizes that peace isn't just the absence of conflict, but a proactive endeavor built on creativity and long term vision.
Yep, right, so he essentially reframes what it means to work toward peace. How does he see the role of peace researchers in today's unpeaceful world?
He points out that peace researchers have a unique ability to look at an unpeaceful world and reshape our narrative. They focus on the possibilities rather than being mired in constant conflict. It's like finding sparks of hope in the chaos, you know?
That's an interesting way to put it. And what about his take on the role of intellectuals, the whole values versus neutrality debate? How does that play out?
Yeah, his discussion on intellectuals is compelling. He suggests that intellectuals carry a responsibility to not simply stay neutral, but to engage with values. They need to balance moral clarity with an open mind. Essentially, he implies that pure neutrality might sometimes be a kind of complacency in the face of rising tensions.
I get that, but isn't there a risk there? Some might say that losing neutrality could polarize discussions even further. What do you think?
That's a solid point. Dr. Oberg seems to address that by arguing that being overly neutral can sometimes stunt progress. Instead, he calls for a careful creative engagement where values guide the process toward peace without tipping into overt partisanship. It's a challenging balance to strike, right?
Exactly. So, moving on. One chapter of his talk focuses on changing minds about weapons for peace. How does he propose we make that shift?
Oh, that's really fascinating. Instead of just seeing weapons as tools of war, he reimagines them as symbols for potential transformation. He pushes the idea that if we harness the energy behind these tools and redirect that into creative peace building efforts, maybe we can chart a new course.
Right. That's a refreshingly controversial idea. And what does he say about the role of everyday people in promoting peace?
He makes it clear that peace isn't solely the realm of policymakers or academics. Ordinary people, through local initiatives and creative projects, can and should contribute significantly. It's like setting up small experiments in peace that can eventually aggregate into larger movements.
Does he offer examples like how community-based projects might scale up into broader peace agreements?
Absolutely. He outlines that the process starts locally, exchange ideas, experiment with creative peace initiatives, and then gradually build frameworks that might support large-scale peace agreements. It's a kind of grassroots bottom-up approach that can eventually challenge even the entrenched patterns of conflict.
That makes a lot of sense. And what about this idea of reframing problems with the right metaphors? It sounds almost poetic.
Yeah, it's like if you change the story you tell about a conflict, you can change how people approach it. He argues that the metaphors we use, like viewing war as an inevitable battle, really shape our responses. By switching to metaphors that highlight creation, collaboration, and hope, we can redefine conflict.
Right. But do you think that changing metaphors is enough? I mean, structural conflicts don't just disappear with a new story.
That's a fair critique. While it might sound idealistic, he isn't saying it's a magic remedy. Instead, it's part of a broader strategy. Creative metaphors can inspire, but they must work alongside tangible, step-by-step efforts to reduce violence and lay down peace agreements. It's about sparking both imagination and concrete action.
Got it. And he also touches on how to actually implement large-scale peace agreements. That's a daunting challenge, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. He stresses that while the idea of a huge, sweeping agreement sounds overwhelming, the path to it comes from incremental changes. It's like building a puzzle one piece at a time. He recommends starting with local, bookable projects that foster dialogue, and over time, these pieces can create a framework for broader agreements.
I really like that idea. Small steps eventually making a big impact. What about the last part of his talk? the call for a pragmatic peace project.
Yes, that part is so uplifting. He calls for a blend of creativity and reality, pragmatic action meeting visionary goals. Essentially, he's saying we need to be both dreamers and doers. It's like being an artist who also knows how to build. This duality is necessary if we are to counteract the escalating rhetoric we see, especially in contexts like Europe's stance toward Russia.
Exactly. I appreciate that mix. It's not just lofty dreams, but practical steps molded by creativity. Still, some might argue that this approach risks downplaying imminent threats. What's your take on that?
That's a real concern. Dr. Oberg acknowledges that his approach relies on idealism and long term vision, sometimes at the cost of immediate solutions. However, his point is that relentless focus on crises can lead to reactive policies that, in turn, fuel further violence. Instead, by investing energy in creative and forward looking projects, we might gradually transform the environment in which conflicts arise.
It does put the spotlight on hope and future possibilities rather than just reacting to the current state of chaos.
Precisely. It's like planting seeds of peace and nurturing them, even when the soil seems unyielding. Every small project, every creative initiative can accumulate into real systemic change. And that's something I think is both inspiring and necessary in today's world.
It's a multi-layered approach. On one level, it promotes creativity, and on another, it encourages tangible steps to improve our collective future.
Exactly. And while there are challenges, like the risk of overt idealism or dismissing urgent issues, his framework offers a compelling path for gradually shifting our paradigm. By focusing on creativity, rethinking narratives, and pushing for grassroots involvement, we might just manage to diffuse some of the tensions that are so pervasive today.
It's definitely a call for everyone, academics, policymakers, and everyday citizens alike, to re-engage with the idea that peace is not static, but something we actively craft.
Precisely. The message is clear. Creating a peaceful future requires imaginative strategies combined with persistent effort. And that kind of thinking, even if it challenges traditional norms, might be the fresh perspective we need.
I find that really refreshing. It's a departure from the usual narratives of despair and conflict, and instead it offers a toolkit for transformation.
Absolutely. And while there are valid concerns about pragmatism versus idealism, the beauty of his approach is that it doesn't completely ignore immediate needs. It's about creating flexible strategies that can adapt as situations evolve.
That balance between addressing the urgent and planning for the long term is truly what makes his ideas resonate on a practical level.
Right on. As we look toward a potentially volatile future, adopting this blend of creativity, systematic change, and thoughtful narrative shifts could very well redefine how we approach peace.
This conversation has definitely opened up some new ways of thinking for me. It's amazing how reimagining a concept like peace can lead to new strategies for real-world challenges.
Absolutely. The call is to be bold, to foster creativity, and to invest in a future where peace is built piece by piece. We might not change the world overnight, but these ideas pave the way for gradual, meaningful progress.
It's a refreshing perspective that challenges us to go beyond outdated, reactionary approaches. Thanks for this thought-provoking dialogue. It's given me plenty to ponder on.
Likewise, let's keep experimenting with these creative ideas in our own lives and maybe, just maybe, help carve out a future that's a little more peaceful for all of us.
Here's to a creative and promising future. Talk to you next time.